I saw we have two entrances to our drive, a sort of in and out, if you like. And I saw this man walk in one entrance, and I thought it was a postman because he had a high, what do you call it? You know, one of these. He had a yellow high visibility jacket on, and he had something over his shoulder, and he had his head down, and I thought, and it was about the time of the postman. The postman usually comes about that time, and put a gun to my head, and I realised what was happening. I said, look, I really don't have time for this. I am so busy. You know, I just do not have time for that. My initial reaction was one of absolute anger. I was so cross. He didn't let go. He was waving his gun around. His gun was like an extension of his hand. So all the time he's waving his hands about with his gun, and we're having this argument. And eventually, I said, look, this is totally ridiculous. You know, this is just rubbish. You're the, you know, worst criminal I've ever encountered. This is just, you know. So then he said he was going to shoot me, and I said, well, what good is that going to do? You know, you've already committed armed robbery. What point is there in murdering me? You know, if they catch up with you, you'll never see the light of day again. This is just absolutely, you know, the worst thing you could possibly do. I'm now in the passenger seat, and he's in the driver's seat with his goggles on.
So it was you saying to him, who's going to drive my car? Who's
going to drive, you or me? He said he was going to drive. So I said, all right, I'll get in the passenger seat. But he actually drove although he drove me erratically, he just certainly knew about cars. And he spun out of our drive and he went round. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt, so I told him, wear your seatbelt. Put your seatbelt on, because my car you know, it makes a noise. Now I thought, when we got to the roundabout, that if we were going to the forest, we would turn right. In fact, we turned left towards Christchurch.
Right, okay. Is that the direction of Everton, is it?
Yes.
Which is where we went.
So at that point, I rather realised that he actually hadn't got much of a plan. So I said to him, do you know where you are? And he said, yes, we're going back to yours. And I said, well, that's, you know, thank you, because you did promise me. But he said he'd left his property in our house. And I said, for God's sake, you are just hopeless, you know. I can't believe you've left. You know, you've left property at the side. You know, at the you know, the crime scene. You've left. You know, I was just despairing. Anyway, so I said, okay, let's go in the house. Let's get your belongings. So we went back into the house, and it was locked. My husband was in. We could see he was in the study on the telephone. He started getting very agitated again.
Yeah.
So I said, look, calm down. And I say, it's all right. To my husband, just going to get his belongings, is all right, you know. And when my husband came and opened the door, I walked in, found his belongings, gave them to him, and I said, now you're to go away. I've had absolutely enough of you. Just go. I don't want to see you ever again. I've had enough of you. And then I said, happy Christmas. And he got in my car and drove off. And that was it, really.